Good morning. Welcome to my clinical room. I'm working out of my Eastern Suburbs office today. I wanted to share a little bit with you about building resilience in kids. This is coming up a lot for me with the families I work with, and so I thought it would be really good to talk a little bit about building resilience in children. And I'm talking about kids from all ages really, but I'm focusing more on the middle age here, the 5 to 12-year-old. But these strategies are useful as well for our little preschool age kids and with our adolescents and young adults. But of course, we have to just fit it to their developmental frame. When we think about building resilience, we have to remember that disappointments and challenges are part of life. Just as we need to make choices and keep our kids safe, we need to give them the tools to bounce back when life doesn't go to plan, recovering from challenging situations, from daily mishaps, stress, adversity, and failure, all the way to life's more traumatic or most traumatic events, requires us to flex our resilience muscle, either a little or a lot. Recovering from childhood trauma requires a more complex skill set and a high level of parental and professional care, but it's built upon many of the skills we learn from dealing with life's small-scale pain and loss. What I want to cover in this just brief video are those less painful mishaps kids face in their day-to-day lives or daily lives, so that we might use these skills as a foundation for building this skill set with our kids. Heaps has been written about the value of resilience in the last few years. It's really become a bit of a buzzword as parents have become increasingly aware of the dangers of being overly involved in kids' decisions and behaviour. Kids need space to learn through experimentation and risk-taking, and we can only learn resilience through practice. There's no secret side path that you can take to circumnavigate the part where you get your feelings or your body a bit hurt and then learn to bounce back. Resilient kids are given space to experiment with their bodies in playgrounds, balancing and jumping and running at pace and navigating muddy, slippery paths. They're given the chance to practice their boldness in social settings, negotiating with, say, cashiers to pay for the groceries or pouring their own cereal or milk, and then helping to clean up when they don't quite nail it. Little challenges and opportunities for us to demonstrate our trust in their judgment and bounce back abilities leads to bigger ones. As they grow, they develop the resilience muscle until they feel strong enough to take healthy grown-up risks, starting a business, going on an intrepid trip, fighting injustice, or asking their crush on a date. Building this skill starts small, and it starts when they're very young. So I hope to embolden you to make parenting choices that are age appropriate and train your kids' resilience muscle, helping them to become more curious and courageous and self-trusting. Each time we experience a challenge and bounce back from it, it builds our trust in ourselves and our confidence in our capability. And each time we fail and then try again only to succeed, we become greater problem solvers, the sort of people who persist. Resilience is built when we step out of our comfort zone, either a little or a lot. And of course, we would never wish damaging or traumatic events on anyone, and ideally we would develop our resilience free from these extreme disturbances. As parents, our role is to coax our kids out of their comfort zone on a regular basis while protecting them from having the experience in that trauma zone. When children experience traumas such as significant illness, the loss of loved ones, family violence, or bullying, or very painful events like friendship breakups, starting a new school, moving house, or dealing with mum and dad separating, our job is to provide the comfort, safety, and skills to navigate these challenges as best as possible. Even while we're going through traumatic events, we can reflect on those comfort, growth, and trauma zones and try to find that sweet spot, focusing as much as possible on opportunities to be comfort and a growth zone. Remember, some of the events listed that I've just listed may not appear to be cause for significant trauma, but for kids they can be extremely painful and world-shattering. that require a great deal of support to move through and make sense of. So parents often say, well, how do I know if my child is struggling with their resilience? It's really important to get to know the little telltale signs that our child displays to let us know they're out of their depth and need our support to bounce back from a challenging situation. So some of these challenges for kids are expressed when it's like they've exhausted their reservoir of resilience, and that includes things like, again, we're talking in sort of that middle age of primary, 5 to 11 or 12, or even 4 to 11, is meltdowns, lots of crying, shutting down or appearing withdrawn, becoming stroppy and instigating arguments, such as big anger, striking out, breaking things, and attention-seeking performance in a way that feels like it's not coming from a place of seeking fun, but from a place of anxiety and stress. And it looks like non-collaborative, out-of-control behaviour. I do acknowledge that everybody has their hard days when they're overwhelmed, even when faced with relatively small challenges. And often this is due to illness, sleep deprivation, or hunger. Remember that HALT acronym I've spoken about before from Justin Coulson. It's okay to not feel able to deal with daily challenges from time to time, and we all need mental health days. But if this becomes a persistent pattern for your child, generally speaking, or in specific circumstances, so at school or at their extracurricular activities or with specific friends or family members, take heed of the signs and focus on helping them to work through these stresses. Remember, I have lots of resources on my website, and my online parenting courses are so helpful to give you more information here, as well as my books, which all can be found on my website. Take care and enjoy your day.